I'm Jackson Watt, head baseball coach, Whitney High School. Yeah, so this is my 5th year back coaching at Whitney High School, starting that 17-18 school year. Background baseball, actually graduated from Whitney High School, class of 2012, went on and played Division III baseball at Willamette University. It's in the Northwest Conference up there in Salem, Oregon. I was a pitcher, I was a starting pitcher, I was a closer, I was all kinds of different forms of relief pitcher. After college, I wanted to stay on the baseball field, so I came back and became a high school teacher and a baseball coach. Yeah, I think the biggest key to our success is consistency and continuity in the coaches and the coaching staff. We have a great coaching staff that I've had the pleasure to build with Greg Borgeson, Scott Seffins, Bill Carr with me at the varsity level, all the way down through all of our levels. And that's really the biggest part to this whole thing. We had a good growth happening, and then COVID happened, and it was kind of a great reset. Tough year last year, but bouncing back, just continuing to do the things that we do well, has really helped us build the program into what it is today. I think to take a step back. I think that's the biggest thing to do, is be able to take a step back and respond to things, not just react to them. We're all competitive people at this level once you've played baseball at a high level and are coaching at a high level. So the biggest thing is being able to take a step back and really truly see what's going on the field. Really be able to evaluate that player from the whole perspective, knowing what's going on in their personal life all the way through to what's led them to that spot on the baseball field with us. And that's really the best way to do player development, in my opinion.
What was your biggest obstacle after finishing college ball and going into coaching?
Figuring out who I was as a coach, I would say. That's the toughest part. You come out of college and you think you're going to come out with your hair on fire and change the world, and you have all these great ideas, and the game will humble you, as they say. So definitely had some learning curves. My first year coaching I spent with my cousin up at Ponderosa. He went on to win a section title a couple of years after that. Take a lot of pride in being able to still have that great coaching relationship with him. That's Ben Peterson. He's over at West Park now. Definitely learned a lot from him that first year. And then moving on into Whitney, surrounded by a ton of great coaches. Our campus is full of amazing leaders, amazing coaches, not just in baseball, but in football. I mean, we have both of my old head coaches from Whitney, Brett Hunter and Rob Dorchek, both still on campus and very much involved with those kids in the classroom every day. We also have Jeff Dietrich, who's a baseball coach, a long time at Del Oro. He's an assistant principal for us. We have Mike Jimenez, who was the first football coach at Whitney. Just a ton of great people to learn from day in and day out, and that's been the biggest thing, kind of finding myself as a coach over the last few years.
What would you say, let's just use Brett and Dorchak, okay? What would you say would be the keys that you learned from each one of them?
Say from Coach Hunter, it would be the hard work, Brett Hunter. Mm-hmm. That hard work and that bringing that energy every day. He still has that energy every single day in the classroom, doing his building industries and technology class. We're trying to get him to come out to the baseball field from time to time, and he's coming out a lot more. And then from Dorchek, a lot of the game within the game, the mental game of baseball, and really a lot of that truly finding yourself as a person, as a coach out there.
What do you do well?
What do I do well? I think I show up every day with that energy that we talked about, and I'm very good at being that level, same person every day.
What would you do differently?
I remember these questions now.
I told you.
Yeah. What would I do differently? Focus more on getting to know my players early on in my coaching career.
And what do you need work on?
I think there's always room to work on the game within the game and learning new things every day on a baseball field. The day you stop learning is the day you should stop coaching. I would say probably as a team, last year we only won 7 games. It was the hardest year of baseball of my life, and it was very tough. But all those kids that returned from that team last year who were young and experienced all those lows, they really learned from that, and we made sure to never let that happen again. That was a lot of the conversations that I had with those seniors and juniors who were rising sophomores that were on that team. And they really responded great, and we had great leadership, great team chemistry this year. I think a lot in part to the suffering we had last year. Well, I think the biggest thing is being an on-campus coach. I'm in the same classroom every single day, every single class period this year, and that's been huge. Just having a place for those kids to come and talk to me, and also just that continuity all around at the school there, that has been huge. and not being so focused on the X's and O's, but more so on the Jims and Joes, and being able to take that time and have those deliberate conversations with kids and figure out what's going on day to day. I'm able to do that during our dynamic warm-up and our catch period at the start of practice every day. Whereas probably when I was early on coaching, I was trying to set up drills or figure out what we're going to do next. And at the end of the day, that stuff's all cool and it's all good and it looks good on the internet for all those coaching clinics you see, but it's really about, do the kids trust you? Do the kids know that you care, and are they ready to go to battle with you?
Success breeds success breeds success. Whitney has a lot of success in one of the top leagues in the state. Do you feel that, like you mentioned other coaches and stuff, how much do you feel that you feed off of other teams, and how much do you feel other teams feed off of your success as well?
I think that's really been the key this year. I've been really preaching all year long that our baseball team, if you would have gone to a football game, if you would have gone to a girls soccer game, who was our sister team this year, if you would have gone to a basketball game or boys volleyball, you would see that almost the entire baseball team in the student section leading that support, whether it was freezing cold and raining out on the soccer stadium or if it was a Friday night football game where everybody's at. Our boys were out there every single day, and we really made a point to say, hey, look, schools go through times where they have success. It's Whitney's time right now. And really getting the boys to believe that and really see it. Obviously, it helps when we have the football team making a run in the playoffs, both soccer teams making deep runs and winning section championships, and the men winning the NorCal championship. You see the basketball team, the boys basketball team, making a deep run into the NorCal tournament as well. Volleyball having success, just a bunch of success. And if there's other sports that I'm missing right now, just an amazing year all around for sports at Whitney. And like you said, success breeds success, and getting a high school kid to believe that, hey, this is our time right now, that's a powerful thing. And that's something that we talked about just about every day at practice, especially in the second half of the season. I think for any sport at Whitney, you'd have to say it's playing the crosstown rival. All the kids that you've grown up with. We were lucky enough this year to work with the city of Lincoln to do a Friday night game or a Thursday night game at McMean Park. And that was a huge game, electric atmosphere, literally electric. There was like lightning strikes and hail and all kinds of stuff happening. We had to deal with that. But we got the game in, and that series every year is just so huge. For just the city of Rockland, not just both schools. So I would say that one is probably the biggest. And I mean, every game in our league is a dogfight. So any team we play, and especially down the stretch when you're making a playoff run like that, you're going to face somebody's number one. They're trying to beat you, and it is always going to be a huge game there. But the biggest has got to be the crosstown rivalry.
Walk off after walk off after walk off. Have you got your first gray hair yet?
Yeah, my girlfriend's picking them out of my hair every day at this point. I'm getting several gray hairs jumping in there a day, it seems like. Yeah, I don't know how these boys kept doing it, but they fought harder than any high school team I've ever seen. And I've heard that from a lot of people from outsiders too, stepping in like, holy cow, you guys came back time and time again. So yeah, safe to say there's some gray hairs in there.
Is there a feeling when you're in that position that you guys are going to get it? Is there like, oh my God, we have to rally? Or is there just a confidence that comes over you feel in the team? Or where do you guys sit when you're in that position?
Our kids have done a really good job of just trusting their practice, trusting their training, and we've been saying really along the playoff run as the moments get bigger, just continue to do what you do what we do. We make fewer mistakes than the other team. We throw strikes. We have quality at bats. It's going to come out good, and the kids believe that all the way down to the last out. There's not any time clock in baseball. You got to get that final out, and our kids fought all the way through, continued to do what we do, and we had a pretty dang good run because of it.
Let's talk about the dedication and commitment these kids have. There's practice, but these kids are obviously doing more just outside of practice. What do you feel is like some of the more important, or some of the things that these kids are doing that's outside of just your normal practice that really is making success?
Well, I mean, if you look at their grades in the classroom, I think that speaks for it more than anything. We have a lot of kids who take their pride in their grades and are competitive with that. And we do study hall every single year, and we try to ingrain that culture, but that's really taken off this year with students taking pride in their work in the classroom. And I think that's the biggest thing outside of school, because then once you get all of your classwork done, then it's just baseball. So there's more time to just focus on that one track mind.
Over your career playing ball, who has been your most memorable coach that you've looked up to and you still implement some of the stuff that they do?
Wow, that's a tough question right there. There's so many of them. You're shaking your head because you know it's so tough. There's so many great coaches that I've had the pleasure to either coach alongside or be coached by in my playing career.
Yeah.
And it's really tough to pick just one. I do take a lot of inspiration from really all my coaches from high school on. There are so many, whether it's Coach Dorchek at Whitney, when I really started to fall in love with the game of baseball and know I wanted to take that next step. Coach Swick at Willamette, Coach Kozdurka, who was at Willamette, who's now at Lewis and Clark. Coach Steve Gill over the summers. He was a summer ball coach for me. There's so many just amazing baseball minds that I've had the pleasure to either coach with or play for. And I really try to take as much as I can from all of them, and really, like I've said, try to find myself as a coach.
I was just asking the players because it's baseball, right?
Yeah.
What about a coach? What are your superstitions?
Superstitions? I like to say I'm not a superstitious guy.
It's baseball,
But
though.
I feel like I've gotten more superstitious, especially along this run here with all the crazy stuff that's happening. But it's really driven by our assistant coach, Greg Borgerson. He's probably the most superstitious. He's the guy who, when we're making those comebacks, is yelling at the kids to go to the same exact spots in the dugout where they were before, because we can't mess up the juju. I got to stand one inside of him when we do the anthem every game, because that was the way we went when we were winning. So that's what we kept with. I would go and grab some of Coach Bill Carr's seeds every inning. That was my one superstition that I was like, okay, these seeds are good luck or something. So Coach Bill Carr, I'd go get some of his seeds every single inning, especially on the run. But I like to say you make your own luck. I'm not very superstitious, but when you're having those crazy comebacks and these tight games all the way through, there's always something.
Yeah.
When you ended the season, right, there's always either you win the championship, which you did, and you have the next step, and you'll lose. Two questions. Let's kind of finish it out unless you have more to go.
Go for it.
First is, what are you going to remember most about this team?
I'm going to remember the fight, how tough this team is. It's the toughest group of kids that I've ever seen on a baseball field. We keep telling the kids in that championship game, it's not a football game. We got to calm down, stay within ourselves. But there are people from the outside saying we look like a football team. I mean, we are a tough group of kids. This team has been amazing to coach, and I would say just like that entire team chemistry, refuse to lose, refuse to give up mentality that we saw come out in the playoffs. That's what I'll remember most. And
then I know you're only graduating 2 seniors, but what do you hope that you left impression-wise on all these kids as they move on into life?
I hope that they can learn how to respond to things instead of react, and really control their emotions in those high-pressure situations that they're going to have in the professional world, in college, whatever they're going to do in life. I mean, really be able to step back and take the moment in for whatever it is, whether it's something in their professional life, like I'm saying, some high-pressure meeting, or something in sales, or maybe it's being a father later on down the road. Hopefully they can take something away from the game of baseball. And that's really the biggest reason why I coach, and that's why I love this game so much. It's the hardest game, the hardest thing to do in sports, they say, is to square up a round ball with a round bat, and it'll drive you crazy. And just all the mental skills that you learn from being a baseball player, being a baseball coach along the way. I hope that they take some of those skills that they've learned on the baseball field and apply them in their lives.